Hello, in this video we're going to discuss the Great Wall of China and why it is there and why we built it. So what it represents is where something took place in the first history. So in the first history, humankind were wiped out because of Satan and Belize. And so the planet Earth, which we referred to as Planet 1, was a place where God did experiments with creatures. So God brought many species to Earth and just left them there to see if they would survive. So an angel came to Earth and Planet 1 and just kept exploring and learning stuff. Now, this is a different approach to science because this person had experienced cooked meat and cooked pork in particular. The other thing about it is that when this angel got killed by anything, and believe you me, he died many times visiting Planet 1, it is a wilderness full of hazards and dangers and unexplored territory. So there are many instances where he'd get killed, and whenever he got killed, there was a fragment of wormhole element on the back of his soul's neck, and it detected when the body died and teleported the soul up into heaven and to God and Mary's cave. And so you'd have to wander around in soul form, which is invisible. In soul form, a person is invisible, but you can still hear them, and if they lightly touch a person, it can be felt. We'll cover that in another video. So for 450 billion years, angels and God had survived on water or breast milk. So that's the two options of drinking. And exploring in the area around China, the angel, who was an explorer, came across some plants, and so he did experiments. And there was a tea plant that had been growing next to mint, and the two roots grew together, forming a new plant, which is mint tea. And so when this angel got the tea leaves, he went through a series of experiments. So as a scientist, you experiment with a new type of material. You do physical tests. In this guy's case, he'd put it in his mouth and taste it, and then at one point he grinded it up and mixed it with water, see what it tasted like. And then he did a experiment where he boiled water and he put the tea leaves in there and drank it. So it was mint tea that he experienced, and he enjoyed it. He enjoyed it so much that he returned to heaven and brought heaps of it with him and shared it with God, Mary, Jesus, and their family and his family. And everyone in heaven was blown away by the taste. And so it became a big deal. From heaven, angels were sent to Planet 1 to grow tea in the area where the tea plantations are on Earth in China. But there was a problem. Back then, there was a species of big cat that is massive. It's in fact bigger than an elephant. Has tusks, but the tusks are smaller than a saber-toothed tiger's tusks, which are more practical for fighting and eating. the big cat, this big cat was would be considered sentient. In fact, it had a bigger brain and was a very, very powerful creature. So heaven had a problem with this big cat. They would just come in there and grab people and eat them. And so the angels would return to heaven and get their souls refilled and not ever want to return to earth. One of these people who got killed was the angel Daniel, who was the angel Daniel spokesman. So Daniel's spokesman is from the Daniel batch of male Daniel batch of angels, and he became terrified of big cats. So when we used to go to Planet One and hunt pigs, he would remain in heaven, and so we used to bring an extra pig back and place it on his at his cave entrance for Daniel, because he was afraid of big cats, that big cat in particular. So that's why the wall was built in the first history, to make it safe for angels to grow tea and to harvest it safely without getting attacked by the big cat. It was such an important location that God created a fixed point wormhole which went straight to heaven from that location. And later on, China was discovered in England, and that's where it comes from. So there was a type of clay in England that was perfect for making tea in, and so that is where we get the cup, the saucer, and the teapot from, and china plates is from there. And in the first history, it was a big deal for heaven, tea, and it is a big deal now. So that's how tea was discovered and why the Great Wall of China was constructed. In this history, we constructed the Great Wall of China. A work party was sent to Earth and constructed it after Noah's flood. And the construction involved machinery, including a very large conveyor belt, which went from the quarry to the work site. And the work site kept moving because it's such a big structure. There are many quarries. None of them have yet been found. So when you come across them, it will have evidence that that is where the bricks came from for the Great Wall. It is in fact filled with sand in the middle. So the walls were built upwards, and then sand was poured in the middle, and then layers of stone were placed down over that. It's a magnificent structure, but the big cat could still scale that wall and get to the other side and kill us. And so we're fortunate that that big cat does not exist today on Earth. There is only one place where they exist, and that is in fact in heaven, on a wildlife reserve on Planet One, which still exists, on an island, which we call Sri Lanka. So during Adam and Eve's time, before Adam and Eve came to Earth, we took them to Planet One. There's two wildlife reserves. One's in Belize and the other one is in Sri Lanka. So we took them to Belize, trained them up in survival in the jungle, and then we made our way to Sri Lanka, and they were taught how to survive in an environment where these big cats are. You literally have to hide everywhere with this big cat. So it's not like being in an environment with lions and tigers. It's in fact much worse. They're big and powerful, and incredibly intelligent. So we'll get to that someday in another video. I'm the Archangel Daniel, and I'm from heaven.